Two dads in a Chaz, putting trophies on the wall. Two dads in a Chaz is talking Green Bay Packers football. Not exactly qualified, but answers the call. Two dads in a Chaz, talking Green Bay Packers football. We gonna break it all down, probably leave out some facts. We gonna make some statements that we'll likely regret. Mostly gossip and rumors made straight off the top. So crank up the air conditioner, cause it's bound to get hot. Two dads in a Chaz, you know we live it and we live it right. Two dads in a Chaz, we gonna break down football for you tonight. Besides them rings and putting trophies on the wall. Trophies, y'all. Two dads in a Chaz is talking Green Bay Packers football. Yeah, we talking Green Bay Packers football.
Welcome to Two Dads and a Chaz podcast, the Green Bay Packer podcast with the Dad Podcast. I mean, if a podcast was a dad bod, that's basically what we would be. We're fuckable to some, loved by most, and hated by a few, and that is fine by us. We are here to share our love, thoughts, and most importantly, to soothe our fan-driven, obsessive-compulsive anxieties surrounding our beloved Green Bay Packers. Now, we are not writers, we are not journalists, we're not professionals of any kind, but we're going to make some statements about some pro athletes who we've never even met, and guess what? That's just our opinion. Take it or leave it. Now, at the same time, if you have cheese in your veins, beer on your breath, and Packers in your heart, welcome home, ladies and gents, to Two Dads and a Chaz podcast. Now, this podcast does use crude language, which may not be appropriate for children. That's profanity, that's fucks, that's shits, that's everything. So here are 5 seconds to change the channel. Great, you're still here. That means it's not past your bedtime, and Two Dads and a Chaz is the place for you. I am your host with the most, Chaz, aka the Wisco Kid. Pew pew. But now it is time to introduce the dads of Two Dads and a Chaz pod. First of all, we have a guest coming back for yet another week. He can talk about the weather till the cows come home. He'll never get caught sleeping behind the wheel. Let's give a warm 2D and a C podcast welcome to Ty.
Yo.
He's a man of few words, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go on to our next dad. I've seen him make a grown Bears fan cry. I've seen him eat enough cheese on D to almost die. Let's give it up for Tyson, a.k.a. T-Bone. How you feeling, bud?
I feel as great as a man can feel. The crisp autumn air outside has got me feeling like it's football weather, and hope should be in the air. And I'm excited about the opportunity to talk Packers with you guys today.
And we're happy to have you, brother. Last but surely not least, you can find this dad's new and up-and-coming worship album, I Love It When You Touch Me, Jesus, coming out later this month. Let's give it up for the man, the myth, the legend, the porcelain prince himself, Aaron Mayhew. How you feeling, Bubba?
Gentlemen, while it's always good to rub shoulders with you fine folk around the big boys table, I gotta admit, I'm fucking depressed with this team, with our current situation, and I am full of anxiety and ready to really dive in with you boys right now.
Well, gentlemen, it's always a pleasure to be here with all of you and all of you listening in. Make sure you follow and like 2D and a C podcast here on YouTube and various other platforms, which we don't have memberships to yet. So let's start out with something we like to start with, which is, where did you watch the game? Boys, where did you watch the game? I'm going to start with Ty. Where did you watch this amazing London game?
From bed, because it was 8:30 in the morning. Really not great for the fan energy, but that was about as best as I could do.
Understandable. You were talking about having a pot of coffee. You were having a hard time streaming the game, I know. We were trying to get you passwords and make it happen, Captain, but you were listening to Packers Radio Network, right?
Yeah, Wayne Larrabee, the legend. Yeah, it's, it seems like once or twice a year, it just so happens that I catch up with old Wayne and Rock and looking out my window and just nostalgia was really big last weekend, despite it being just such a terrible game. There was still some satisfaction that it was football Sunday.
Well, we're gonna get into the emotion of it in just a second, Ty. Just a second. But Aaron, where did you watch the game, my brother?
Well, Jazzy boy, I woke up just bright-eyed, bushy-tailed with the family a little early than them. Actually, I started cooking breakfast. I was ready to go about 6:30 a.m. And just a great family meal. Everybody's excited. We worked our way downstairs. The missus and I had a very special array of fantastic beers lined up for what was going to be an amazing day, and it slowly churned into something unbearable. But overall, the kids were running around. They were having fun. And yeah.
Tyson, where did you watch the game, my friend?
Well, Chaz, I had a long list of items to attend to when watching this game. I was really excited to look into a handful of things, check out the offensive line. Is Bakhtiari playing? I had this list of notes. I was so excited about writing that the night before, I forgot to look up, how do I watch this stupid game? And I assumed, hey, it's probably on Fox, right? That's what it's usually on Fox, right? Then I wake up, I start Google searching, and it's just like the most common Google search ever. It's like, how do I watch the Packers game? I'm like, oh, it's one of these NFL Network bullshit games. I get it. One of these ones where I got to steal a fucking membership from some dumb thing I'm never going to use. A terrible deal, like $70 a month. You can't lose. You can't lose. So I would say I was frustrated right off the bat because it took so much time to get the game going. We got it up just in time, and then I was just as frustrated with the outcome of the game as well.
I 100% understand how you feel, buddy. And since we're talking about our feels and our deep downs, I mean, I bleed green and gold, but I was feeling a little black and blue after some of that game. So I want to talk just a little bit about what is the dominant emotion we all had after watching that game. And I'm not talking about one half or two halves, I'm talking about the full game. I'm going to go with Ty first. Ty, emotions after the game.
The thing I couldn't believe was that I still had all day ahead of me. Like the Packers lost, and I was like, all right, well, and then I looked over and it was 11:20, and I'm like, really? Now I got to spend the whole day with this thing?
Yeah.
That was my main emotion.
Mayhew.
It's frustration, Chaz, because I think all of us in this podcast and even in the state of Wisconsin can almost like clearly see what's going wrong on the field, and more that we are reluctantly willing to rectify it. You know what I mean? It's almost like a template is being created on how to play the Packers, how to beat the Packers. And I have a really hard time sitting on the sidelines.
We're going to move into another segment, which we're going to do at the end of our first quarter. Game day winners and lowly bed shitters, and or whose jersey are you going to buy? Because we do want to end this quarter on a positive note. Aaron, winners, shitters, whose jersey are you going to buy? Let's hear it.
Well, I'll give it to you real short and quick here, Chaz. As far as game day winners, nobody probably recognized it, but Preston Smith quietly had one of like the more proficient executions of a outside linebacker that I've seen in a long time. As far as shitters, I'm going to continue to bring this man's name up because Darnell Savage is pissing me off. Like, I don't know what is happening there. We'll dive into that a little bit later. And whose jersey, Chaz? Nobody. I'm not wearing anybody's jersey. I also rock the G, baby, all day. I believe in this team, but individually, no. Nobody stood out. Not one.
Ooh, bold statement. I love it. Ty, any rebuttals? Any additions?
Winner, Mercedes Lewis for the touchdown, the sneaky touchdown, a 300-pound man disappearing in the end zone. Bed shitters, Joe Barry, just though for everything. Just and buying. Since I burned my Mason jersey last season, I'll get a new one this season. He's 6 for 6. And coming off the work.
That's awesome.
We're going to throw it over to Aaron Mayhew for just a little bit. He's going to do a little bit of breakdown analysis as far as play calls, Giant stats. Mayhew, going to give it over to you, bud.
Well, boys, it's the stats that always tell the story and always play it out straight. So as we break it down now, we're going to start out with the mighty Giants of New York and what happened first. Daniel Jones, quarterback, 21 for 27 for a staggering 217 yards, averaging 10 yards per throw. That's relatively average, not a big deal. As we move on, rushing, Saquon Barkley, this stallion behind this offensive line. Only 13 carries, 70 yards, 1 touchdown. Impressive? Or was he held within his limits? Only time will tell. Daniel Jones, 10 carries himself for 37 yards. And as we move down to the receiving slate is where we really become impressed here because we have Slayton, 6 receptions for 79 yards. Any touchdowns? No. Saquon Barkley, yet again, 3 catches for 36 yards and no touchdowns. No actual touchdowns through the entire shot. It was, despite the win, it was a rather unimpressive day. So let's shoot over to the Packers. Let's analyze, boys, what's gone right here, right? We'll start off rushing. Aaron Jones, 13 attempts for 63 yards, averaging 4.8 yards, boys, and that's a damn fine average of sorts. Any touchdowns? No. How many carries? 13. Questionable? Absolutely. A.J. Dillon, 6 attempts for 34 yards, but I guarantee he got into the end zone, right? No, he didn't. 19 carries for the running backs today, boys, with under 100 yards. That sounds like a recipe for success, does it not? Anyway, we move on to the receiving corps. 40-year-old Randall Cobb, looking like a 20-year-old, Sprite and Fry. 7 receptions for 99 yards. The man put the team on his back and carried them all the way into mediocrity, one step at a time. Allen Lazard, 4 receptions, 35 yards, and a bloody touchdown. My God, the man came through when he needed to, which was not very often. Randall Dobbs, 3 catches, 29 yards. In the list, it goes on and on like this. Mercedes Lewis, the tight end. The old man managed to scoop in the most exciting touchdown of the day from 2 yards outside the end zone. But by God, the best play call this chap has seen in a long time. Now, final score 27-22. The good point is that the Packers offense came out in the second half in a fucking fury and scored 2 points on a safety that was given to them. But what's important here, boys? What's important is that at the end of the day, you get the W. Am I right? Oh, wait,
Absolutely.
we fucking did it. And not only did I don't know what dialect was in there, Chaz. You're going to have to cut that. Now, boys, what becomes real important, though, is the Pro Football Focus end of things, where they really shape these players down to what they really mean. No bullshit, no crap, and they fucking tie it together real quick here. Now, top 5 offense. Coming in at number 1, which would surprise us all, a good friend at right tackle, Elgton Jenkins. 85.7. Highest score of him all year. Clear standout, and I think a lot of us missed it. Randall Cobb, the old man, coming in at 83.7. John Runyon at left guard, quietly putting on a clinic that most people probably did not even notice. Number 4, never before been acknowledged on this team. Tight end Josiah DeGara at 74.0. And coming at number 5 is Aaron Jones at 71.2, only because we didn't give this guy the ball just a little bit more. Can you agree? Jenkins didn't give up a pressure with 43 pass blocking snaps and the final offensive line blocking grade at 94.5. Cobb caught 7 passes for 99 yards and averaged 3.41 yards per route ran, 8.57 yards after the catch. Now, Runyon didn't allow the pressure, or the top pass rushing block along the offensive line. And DeGara, 2 passes for 19 yards. No one fucking cared. Moving on down to the defense, boys. Getting to the meat of things. Coming in at number 1, Preston Smith with an impressive score of 84.6. Coming in number 2, Lavondre Campbell redeeming himself with a healthy, starkly 80.9. Kenny Clark rounding out the offensive line, 77.9. Jerron Reed making the list for the first time at 72.8. And Rashawn Gary rounding it out at 71.2, only because some fucking asshole got a penalty on his sack. But, boys, it's not all rainbows and sunshine. No. Sometimes you got to move down to the bottom. The bottom feeders here. Bottom 5 offense where we can really rub it in their faces. Christian Watson coming in at a 55.7. This man gets on the field only to run behind the line of scrimmage and perhaps not get looked at when the ball is being thrown. Number 2, David Bakhtiari, shaky leg David, coming in with a 59. Falling back a little bit from previous games. Are we worried? I don't know. And that's Josh Myers, a 60.1. Everybody worried there. Now, boys, the most disappointing, however, is coming in at number 5 is running back A.J. Dillon with a 62.3. But again, the chap just deserves more chances, in my opinion. But what needs to be talked about is the defense. Coming in at number 1 is a real piece of shit in my eyes. Safety Darnell Savage with a who gives a fuck, because it's just getting more and more upsetting by the week. Number 2, Razul Douglas with a 33.2, only because this man had 3,000 penalties on the day at the worst fucking times ever, and everybody's a little bit upset. But number 3, Ty, this one's really going to burn you up. It's Quay Walker coming in with a 35.4. Lowest of the rookies campaign. What do you have to say, Ty?
No, that's not possible.
The math does not lie. I only speak the numbers. So number 4, Eric Stokes with a 43.6. This one burns me up because Stokes gave up 5 completions on 5 targets for 70 yards. Now, Jazz, what do these numbers say? A lot. But it's not until we get to the quarterback where things really get interesting. Just bear with me, boys, for a moment, if you would. Aaron Rodgers with a 60.2. And there's a shortly, Aaron Rodgers averaged 5.6 yards per attempt from clean pockets, completed only 4 passes thrown over 10 yards, and went 0 for 5 with passes over 40 yards. Now, we all remember, boys, that the quarter of the week was like, I think we should air it out more, coach. Yeah, this running game is working too well. I think it's time we throw it down the field, don't you? Rodgers averaged 5.7 yards per attempt overall and took 2 sacks in a depressing, and Chaz, that's what we call stats with me.
And ladies and gentlemen, that was the second quarter with Aaron Mayhew, giving you the stats with all the spats on. It's time to go to our first commercial break, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back in just a second. When I was a kid, learning about the great game of football, I also had to learn about losing. Now, losing can be hard, especially for kids. But it's a good thing my father used a product that made me into the man you see today. And it's called I'll Give You Something to Cry About. Brought to you by dads everywhere. Not just a great product on game day. Oh, no. It can also be used for many occasions, such as at the dinner table. You better eat those goddamn veggies or I'll give you something to cry about. In the car. Turn this goddamn car around. You'll never get to go to Chuck E. Cheese and you'll have something to cry about.
Or even at Little League.
You call that a pitch? Wait till we get home. I'll give you something to cry about. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps and shove those pesky feelings way, way down deep. Try I'll Give You Something to Cry About, a product getting results since the early 1950s. I'll Give You Something to Cry About, brought to you by 2D and a C podcast.
All right, boys, offensively, this one was, again, just a similar format that we seem to find week after week. We come out in the first half, and I think our coaching staff, this offense's greatest strength is at the beginning. They've planned all week long. They feel confident in their game plan. I feel like execution is always at its highest. And like those first couple of drives, usually points have come up pretty cleanly. And then we inevitably get into a second half where the defense, the other team has had a moment to take a break, see what we're trying to do, adjust, and then basically press back on us. And the ball comes into our court and we literally try to play the same game we were in the first half. I think we become completely uncreative in the second half. I feel like we have a tendency to, for some reason, get away from the run game entirely, even though we've seen it work in the beginning. And I think in this game in particular, we were trying to throw the ball for deep shots downfield for no other reason than, I don't even know, trying to keep the defense honest. And I mean, Ty, you know what I'm saying? Or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, the play calling, especially late, 4th and 2, the passing on 4th and 2 has been brutal. I think LaFleur is losing either control or confidence of this team in just their drive to go out there and succeed for him. But on the other hand, I don't think they're far from a good football team. I think they're right there. I think a little more execution, a little more heart. I think that they're close. They're not executing to their full potential early season. What do you think, T-Bone?
For me, it's really hard because it seems like Aaron, and I'm going to throw it right on Aaron Rodgers right away. It feels like he's the guy, he's the trigger man, and he loses faith in the scheme as soon as we experience some real challenges. As soon as things go wrong and chips are down and we're down by any amount of points, he wants to go into what a lot of people call hero ball, which is just him not making choices that are in the best of the scheme, long-term, short-term, or any of it, just trying to win that play. They lose faith in the scheme as soon as they are challenged in any real way. And that pattern puts us in the same position every time, which is we can play down to the worst of opponents, which is what we're experiencing on offense. Now, guys, I want to move on to defense if it's okay. All right. Because defense is really where I had some major issues in regards to the Packers play. Again, everyone is looking at the same thing we're looking at. We aren't making adjustments. It is really hard to watch this team go down in flames when we have the players to play a scheme that could actually put us in a position to win. And what we're experiencing is seemingly a lack of institutional control from, and what I think, the head coach down to the defensive coach, down to the and the players not being able to reach the coach enough to say, we don't want to sit out here with our hands tied and watch these guys do crosses across our zone. Can we please play a man coverage at this point? We're all really good. Like, I don't know what point that conversation needs to happen and from what angle, but it's crazy to me that it didn't happen in that game sooner. Ty, what do you think about the defense?
The defense underperformed. I think they must have hit the town the night before or something, because they came out, they were fired up and they did their job in the first half. Tale of two halves, though. You can't be on the field as much as they were and just not suffer. I mean, the 11-play drive, then a 15-play drive, just a gas defense. It was hard to watch. Even a good defense is gonna give it up if the offense can't stay on the field. So it's given both ways, but underperformed is the grade I'd give the Packers defense. Aaron?
Ty, I would completely agree. And I think it's all coaching. It's coming back to Joe Barry over and over for me again. Like, I watch the way this team lines up, and you have elite speed and athleticism at the cornerback position. And what you do is you have them try to play 7-8 yards off the receiver, let them complete easy crossing routes. And then you get behind the podium and you talk to me. It's like, well, we don't want to give anything up like deep. It's like, neither do I. But man, I tell you what, every time I watch our defensive line get after the quarterback, it's always just like a hair late, because they get rid of the fucking ball in like under 2 seconds because you're giving them the entire middle of the field to eat up. It's like, get these guys up on the line, man up, shove them off their route, and I guarantee we will find success through that. And if your safeties can't cover up like the top a little bit, I'd rather give up the long ball once in a while, which I don't think is like actually a thing given the speed of our cornerbacks. But you're taking away the aggressiveness, you're taking away the strength of this defense. You're making that call as a coordinator, and it fucking blows my mind. Tyson, am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong at all. And also, like, how about some variance? I don't care if you want to play zone all the time. How about playing some different kinds of zone? How about playing some 3? How about some drop 3? How about some 4? How about you change it up? it's amazing to me to watch a team that literally didn't change its offensive strategy against us, and a defensive team that's getting beat that's like, let's not change our defensive strategy at all. Let's just see how long we can do this thing that isn't working and just say this is who we are. When there's like a million different defenses to play. There's so many options, and we are playing just one consistent formation, it feels like, and it's getting smoked. It is hard to watch. I mean, Chaz, what did you think about the Giants offense? Well, would you break down the Giants offense? You break it down completely. I mean, there's a lot that happened there. What do you think?
I mean, as far as the offense goes, I'm going to call a Chaz and pass. It's simple. It's easy. They either bootleg pass from the QB, and that was it, or just basically gave it to fucking Saquon. It was that simple. It was that easy. It's a door, shut, close. That's the end of the story. That was not the most impressive part of that game. The defense for the Giants is what I want to hear about. And I want to throw that to any of you guys. The defense is what really gave us an issue in this game.
Yeah, I would like to take the lead on that. Chaz, I got to admit, I feel like you brought up the exotic blitz scheme of that defense, and I'm not going to remember the coordinator's name, and I just like blew it off. I'm looking at the list of names, and I don't recognize any of these motherfuckers. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's a bunch of trash. We're going to eat these guys alive. And man, I will say that defensive coordinator is creative. God damn it. He's creative. And it was exotic looks, and Aaron Rodgers was struggling. And these guys that I think are nobodies were playing with more heart than our entire fucking defensive side of the ball. And that was difficult to watch all day long. I would say at the end of the day, this game came down to like heart and who like really wanted it, who was just going to kind of grind it out. And man, our team, I don't know what's lacking here, guys, because I know like LaFleur is trying to like promote this like energy and this like, you know, we got to be prepared for every down, blah, blah, blah. But it is like not translating to the field on either side of the ball. I mean, somebody tell me I'm wrong here. Like they look confused.
Yeah, they definitely look confused. I think that's an understatement. I think it's unfair that the defense on the Giants got such an opportunity to all out blitz against our team. And that's something that our team has not done. We just run 5 guys every time until they're just dog ass tired and then just keep running them anyway. Wink Martindale, which is the defensive coordinator, and Brian Diebel definitely blew my mind in terms of coaching. And it was really unfortunate that we're getting beaten by this caliber of coach. We should be able to do much better against what I would consider the bottom quarter tier of the league. And right now, we're getting out coached. No. Aaron Rodgers is getting out coached. Let me just real quick throw this. There was a time when Aaron Rodgers was the smartest man in the room. Okay, it doesn't seem that long ago, but it was a long time ago. The world has moved past that. There was a time when he was smarter than the coaches. He was able to do things other guys couldn't do. He could think things up. But that time has passed. And at this point, Wink Martindale out-schemed you, Aaron Rodgers. You didn't see what was coming. You weren't able to pass protect. You weren't able to make that happen. We need to take the decision-making out of Aaron Rodgers' mind into how he knows how to fix it and put it back in a coach versus coach. Because when you look at this game on paper, we got 100% embarrassed and out-coached 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row, if everything that happened on the field is what LaFleur wanted. There's no way that's what LaFleur wanted. These are Rodgers' calls. I guarantee it. So coaching, man, it was hard. It was hard to see it go down again. And I feel like LaFleur is completely has no control over what happens from the first quarter to the end of the fourth quarter.
I gotta think he's holding back though. You know, he's being reserved on the tape. He's not trying to give them everything. Yes, the Giants coaching looked spectacular, but those are playoff plays. Double end around where a wide receiver is looking for the quarterback in the end. I mean, it's like what a double end around Philly special in week 5. I mean, I get that you got to win each and every game, but just there was kind of ridiculous to see. And on defense too, they dialed up all of their best plays for this one. they have nothing left for next week. I wonder if LaFleur isn't scheming this bad tape to throw the rest of the league. He's got to win more than 13 games and lose in the playoffs this year.
Absolutely, gentlemen. I mean, emotions were running really high for that last game. I think we could all agree across the board. I like to use the analogy that shit rolls downhill, man. Like, it starts from who's in the booth, it starts to the coaching, it goes to the players, it goes to who's on the field. And you can try to push that ball of shit as hard as you want, but it starts getting to your wrists. Before you know it, it's up to your fucking elbows. Before you know it, it's up to your shoulders. And then before you know it, you've got shit up your goddamn nose. You can't breathe. You don't know how to get out, and you're getting rolled over. You have literally been shit on. And there was two halves of that game where I literally felt like I was pushing the shit down the hill, and then I had shit in my eyeballs. And I want to move into final thoughts of last week, which I'm going to give some time for this, but I want to take a minute for it myself. Just like final thoughts of last week and where we are right now. Because I said this in the beginning, I watched this game and just anxiety wise, waking up as a Packer fan, not usually getting up that early to watch a game. And like, we've talked about presentation and like what you need to do to get into the moment. As an actor, I have to work really hard to like get my mindset right and be prepared. And so when it comes to a Packer game, I do the exact same thing. My rituals don't differ very often. But I got to tell you, my excitement for this game was paramount. I was ready. This felt like Super Bowl winning Packers football. And for the first half, absolutely it was there. Absolutely it was there. I mean, like Cobb getting that first opening pass through 9 squid arms to get 40 yards absolutely filled me with joy. But that second half of the game, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. If I have to hear Cobb say if I have to hear Matt LaFleur say one more time that he's got to throw it up to the Giants just because they were outplayed, it's starting to feel like such a cop-out. I want to kill myself. Obviously, the fault falls on someone, and guess what? It's on us. This team is about a couple of things, and I mean this franchise. Expectations of excellence. The standard is the standard. Consistency. This team was only great and only beat us. They just outplayed us enough, just enough for us to shoot ourselves in the foot and allow them to win this game, which is more upsetting than knowing you can win a game and perform well. I know it was a little long-winded, boys, but I'm going to keep going. Final thoughts of last week and where we are right now. Aaron, why don't you take it, bud?
It's all Joe Barry. I'm coming back to Joe Barry time and time again. I just don't care. Chaz, I actually have a quote here, and I want to bring this up as well, because as far as like us kind of seeing what's wrong with this team and like rectifying it, Tyson, Ty, and I both talked at length last week about how we didn't infuse like the defensive line with like talent that was available. TJ Slayton in particular. And Tyson, we saw that man's name called quite a bit. Ty, he was a difference maker in the run game. Now, after the game, when they were clearly kind of getting eaten up and a little bit confused, I got a quote here from TJ saying, "I think we were a little too dialed in at times with the plan and what we practiced. We knew what we were going to see, and I think we were just getting a little lost. We were getting a little lost when we didn't see what we were practicing." Are you kidding me? That is more or less a guy that felt like whatever the coach was preparing them for, they didn't see. They didn't try to change. They just sat there and basically felt helpless.
Took it up the ass.
Yep. My God, man. What the fuck are we doing? This guy has the most talented slew of players we've ever had at defense. We've invested heavily in it, and we were looking for the proper coach. I touched upon this last week, where I think Matt LaFleur basically grabbed what was left in the basket of familiarity and what he thought was a defense that was successful with the Rams. This guy's never been successful in any defense that he's actually led by himself. He just must be a cool guy to hang out with, like have beers. That's great, Joe. That's fucking great. But You're losing respect to the locker room. You lost respect to me a long time ago. And I'm ready to move on pretty quickly here, Chaz.
Yeah, and we got to end this keep away ball. We got to get off the field on third down. If their offense is on the field the entire half, that means their defense is on the field, on the sideline. And I'm pretty sure I saw Eli Apple making margaritas on a blender spin cycle. These guys had it so easy last week that they only had to look good on a couple occasions. And it's the keeper, and the Patriots did it to us, and now the Giants have done it to us, and they've shown the rest of the league that if you get first down on third down, you can beat the Packers because you keep the ball away from their offense. That's my thought on that game. Is they've established a pattern. We gotta stop that pattern. Get off the field on third down. Tyson?
Listen, they're Rodgers. Get this to this. Rodgers is a cat. Okay, this is what I mean by this. They're cats. They come, they go, they do what they want, right? They get to eat their food is given to them in a little dish. They get to climb up in their little bed. They come and go as they please. They shit in a box. You clean it out. It's not there. They come and go as they want, right? Dogs are starving. They want like your scraps. They want your approval. This game is designed by and for dogs. The Green Bay Packers, as tough and wholesome and real as we are, I'm sorry, dude, this team has been run by cats for a while. We got a cat coach and we got a cat quarterback. Aaron Rodgers, he's a cat, okay? He's coming in here. He's doing his thing. You know, LaFleur, he's a cat too. He's scared. This thing's getting out of hand. He doesn't have control of the situation anymore. And he's got this defensive coordinator, and though he's a dog, he's not right. That's not a good dog. That's a fucked up dog, okay? That's a problem. If that's your dog, you got problems, and that's our dog right now. So the only dog on this team seems like it's got something wrong with it, all right? And the other two cats are so cool that they're like, you should just want to do better because I'm sad. LaFleur's like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go all the way over there. Ugh, guys, play better because I'm sad. Rodgers is like, guys, you better catch the ball because I'm sad. This is bullshit. Okay? That's not how fucking football works. And what we're doing right now has never been done. No team is bent over completely backwards for a quarterback before that is not given results, and he's publicly, obviously changing the fucking plays and rubbing your nose in it and making you look like an idiot. Dude, this thing has gotten out of hand. And I gotta say, I don't know that we can fix it this easily. And it really got bad this week. And I hear Rodgers in the press conference, oh my God, it's driving me fucking crazy. He's scolding his own team. He's scolding the fucking people asking the questions because he doesn't like the negativity. I don't want to talk about losing. And you know what? Well, he's talking like a college coach. Like he gets to control every single part of this world. I'm talking still. I wasn't done yet. Yeah, you were. You didn't have any fucking point with your CTE ass. You had nothing else to fucking say. My point is this. This mouse has been given a cookie for so long that I don't think he realizes that he's not steering us in the right direction. And I don't know that Matt LaFleur is the coach that's capable of being the parent in the room and creating conflict because he's afraid he might leave me. I'm afraid he might go. And like that fear, that honest fear is eroding the necessary structural foundation of the Green Bay Packers organization. We don't have an owner right now. Aaron Rodgers is essentially the owner of this franchise, and that is a major problem. So to wrap up this game, to be clear, we are not good yet. What? It is clear if you're looking at the numbers, we're not good. Unfortunately, I wish we were, guys. I was sure we'd be good. I made a fucking podcast over the thing. This was the year. This was it. But you know what it is not? It's not good. We're not playing good at all. We're playing terrible football, okay? There is poor leadership eroding the load-bearing foundation of our Green Bay Packers beloved franchise. This is a fucking bunch of termites that we have an infestation, And LaFleur's just like, oh boy, this is gonna be bad. Call the fucking exterminators and make the call, okay? Someone make the fucking call. We are getting out schemed, taken advantage of every single fucking game. And this is exactly the same as it used to be with McCarthy. And if we change nothing, we will continue to lose exactly the same way. This next week, I'm sorry, guys, it is all on this. This is the crossroads. You got your family to impress LaFleur. You got your best buddy who you were fucking, do you know he was the best man of the Saleh coach of the Jets? He was. They're like besties, right? So like they're going to be fucking with his head at the worst possible time when he needs to be coming down on his quarterback. He's got all the evidence in the world that you played like shit. I can show you 12 times how your decisions fuck this team. At what point is he going to sit this fucking guy down and say, listen, man, I know you want to be your own guy, but you need to like just play quarterback. You're focused on GM stuff. You're focused on coach stuff. You're focused on like all the other details about the fucking offensive line. Just play quarterback. Just play quarterback and throw the ball where it's supposed to go. Run my offense, fucking please. Let's go. I want him to say that to Aaron Rodgers, and I just don't think he has the ball or the dick to fucking do the job. And I have real concerns about this team.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get to what we now call halftime. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to come back in just a minute. Thank you to D&C Podcast. When the game is on the line, and it's all up to you, when you've got that big presentation for the boss in just a few minutes, when you need that extra pep in your step, then you need to try Kickers Malt Liquor. Kickers Malt Liquor is guaranteed to ease your nerves, give you some courage, including a staggering buzz along the way. Don't believe me? Then listen to this satisfied customer. I rolled through a stop sign and was gonna get pulled over. Luckily, I had Kickers Malt Liquor in my glove compartment, which gave me the courage I needed to lead the police on a high-speed chase through town, where I was able to get away scot-free. Kickers Malt Liquor comes in a variety of fun and exciting flavors, such as Snozberry, Maui Wowie Pineapple, and Regret. So, get on down to your local bodega and get yourself some Kickers Malt Liquor. Putting the kick in malt liquor. Welcome back to Two Dads and a Chaz podcast. We're going to keep going now into the third quarter. Special feature deep dive of the New York Jets. Let's get the game stats from last week. Tyson, I'm going to pass it over to you right now.
Thank you, Chaz. I really appreciate you kicking that over to me. We're going to talk Jets-Dolphins, okay? This was a game that you would not expect to be a high-scoring affair or a game you give a shit about, but it's important to us this week. The Jets put up a 40-burger on the Dolphins, who just got 17 points. Now, this game was kind of tight right up until about the third quarter. At that point, the Jets kind of put their foot right on the throats of the Dolphins and finished them off. It was very impressive. Coach Saleh was pretty impressive overall in the win. I saw this also on the 49ers, and that's a concern, is that this is a dude that knows how to finish off an opponent. They have a record of 4-1 right now, a convincing record of 4-1. Zach Wilson had a great game, 14-21 for 210 yards, no touchdowns, but a rushing one. That was really cool. But the real star of this team that we need to worry about is Bryce Hall. He is a for real superstar. 18 carries for 97 yards, got one touchdown. He also had 2 receptions for 100 yards. This guy is their whole offense overall, because he is a difference maker. I don't know if you know this, but this running back, number 20 on the Jets, is a top 10 player in the NFL right now. Like, period. Top 10. Rodgers is not. Zach Wilson, that skinny dude with the weird mom that they have like a creepy kind of close. Are they dating or not? I don't know, but they look like they are. And like he keeps dumping girlfriends, but she's always in the picture. It's like, aren't you an NFL player now? Your mom's always there. Yeah, influencer she is. There's rumors of him fucking one of his friends. It's one of her friends. There's a real issue. That's why that last girlfriend broke up. It's all interesting stuff. Anyway, that guy turns out when he's not getting pressured, and he's well protected, second best in the league. How about that? Second best, and Rodgers number 19, 19th best of when you are fully protected, throwing the ball and hitting your target. This kid can throw all over the place. He was the second pick in the draft. He is a very impressive athlete. He can run. He's at a point in his career where he's not afraid yet, so he's still ignorant enough to like go into dangerous situations, and he has a lot to prove. Most importantly, the reason he's doing so well this year, guys, this is going to drive you crazy, is that he is taking the short ball. How about that? Their offense is strikingly similar to our offense. I wonder why. Maybe because their offensive coordinator is our head coach's brother. Yeah, you know that? It's true. So they run a very similar offense for a lot of reasons. They also all work together in San Francisco, or not all of them, but either way, there's a lot of history here with the Jets. They definitely had a very good game. 2 touchdowns for their backup running back. They have a very similar system to us. Their number 1 is very much like our Jones. Their number 2 is very much like our A.J. Dillon. They have a power back. He gets the short yardage. The other guy does all the dirty work in between. They also have a very, very, very good wide receiver, Garrett Wilson, that was one of the first top picks in the draft this year, and is really producing for them. So overall, I'm pretty terrified of this Jets team. And I know not, before I tell you all that, just real quick, first thought, if I wouldn't have told you all that, what's the first thing you think of when I say New York Jets?
They suck. Perennially.
Did you say
Perennially bottom feeders.
Bottom feeders, right? Terrible, right? Everybody thinks terrible. That's the general thought. The general thought is that, like, regardless of what the record is, the Jets are terrible, and regardless of what our record is, the Packers are great, right? This is why this is a big problem. If we go in here and we lose this game because our team is not ready to win it, I think it means something much bigger to everybody than just a win and a loss. So, like, I think that this is actually a very huge game, and I don't think we're preparing for it like it's a huge game. I think this is a must win for our team, and I don't know if they're preparing for it like a must win. I'm going to go ahead and pass off somebody else, but this is where I'm at with the Jets. They are a great matchup against us compared to what we just did the last 2 weeks. They're a better version of both of those. They have a better quarterback. They have a better running back. They have a better offensive line parts. It's going to be good.
I got to disagree on a lot of that. First off, they're not 4-1. They're only 3-2. They're coming off they did hang a 40-pointer on a Miami team that I think is wildly overrated. That team's defense is trash. Tua lit it up like one afternoon, and everybody like just jumped on the bandwagon. That is not a team I find threatening. Now, Zach Wilson in particular, Tyson, I don't know what you're talking about. This guy, what I've seen, is remarkably underwhelming, like across the board. Like when he all of a sudden shot up into like number 2nd overall pick out of BYU, I'm like, who is this guy? Why does anybody care? But inevitably, the Jets, in my opinion, fell into that classic hole of I have a top 3 pick, and people are telling me that I need to get a quarterback, and this is what's available this year. And it's tough. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's going to pan out. But you're telling me a guy that went 14 for 21 last week for just barely over 200 yards, no TDs, is a threat in a clean pocket. Everybody in the NFL is a threat, I guess you could say. Where they mashed everybody up was on the rushing attack. Yeah, Hall had 18 for 97 and 1 TD. M. Carter, who you compared to A.J. Dillon, 10 carries for only 21 yards, but 2 touchdowns. Another guy, Berrios, had another touchdown, again running, and then Zach Wilson himself was able to run one in as well. No throwing touchdowns. Basically, like Hall lit it up for 100 yards on 2 catches, so 2 like bombs. They kind of like. So Tyson, you take away that, this quarterback threw for under 100 yards. I'm not intimidated by him, but what I will say, it is a perfect comparison to everything that we've been struggling with the past couple of weeks. A great offensive line, a great running attack, with a defensive scheme that has taken the ball away, and it's everything that you're right. It is a perfect trap game. We could easily lose this thing because we have been recently, but it is also the one game to get it back on track, to finally turn it around against what's been harming you the most at home. There's real opportunity here. Either we completely shit the bed and like all is lost, in my opinion, or we turn things around and we just do what we're supposed to do, and it's like a leap. It's a leap off point.
I'm extremely confident going into this one against the Jets. The Jets have the 3 wins are their best game of the week or of the season last week, but they had a squeaker against the Steelers and a squeaker against the Browns. And all 3 of those really, not one good football team. They did face 2 good football teams this year in the Ravens and the Bengals, and they lost both times getting into the end zone. None of those. They kicked 3 field goals against the Ravens and kicked 4 field goals against the Bengals. So if you're looking at them playing good teams, bad teams, I think we've got this just based on the fact that the Jets are a bad football team. They're going to beat other bad football teams, but bad football teams rarely beat good football teams. Packers are going to destroy them this weekend.
I'm not going to say I'm not scared about this game that's coming up. I am, because I don't like hearing the push-offs from the coaches and the staff. I don't like hearing about personally how it makes me feel. I don't like feeling 3-2 going into another team who's also 3-2 with nothing that they can't lose from just beating us. But if I can go to like a big board, like quick hit topic of the week, what is our team's defensive identity, and do we even have one? Open-ended. Take it.
Guess that's a
As far as Darnell
Oh,
Savage.
yeah, that's enough of an answer. There's your identity, invisible.
No, we don't
Absolutely.
have an identity at all. Our identity is, let's see what you're going to do, and we'll see if what we thought would work will work. And if it doesn't work, then we'll try that again, see what happens. Our identity is a lot more of the same, it would seem.
Mayhew?
I don't think there's any player that like stands out to me as like a driving force. I look at who's getting paid the most. I feel like Jair, but he doesn't seem like a cohesive man. He seems like a star. And then I look at Rashawn Gary. I feel like that's the guy, and he's been consistent, man. Boy's about to get paid. But identity to this defense, no, there is none, because they're struggling. And I think it all comes down to coaching. We've touched on that many, many times already.
Well, that we have. Well, then let's talk about the passing game. Is the passing game literally passing Aaron Rodgers? Is it passing him by?
Yeah, it is. He is so caught up in knowing he's being Peyton Manning. He's so caught up in being the smartest guy on the field. And you also got to think, like, he has a vendetta against all these coaches. He's out there not playing against the team. He's playing against the coach. He's saying, can you substitute? Aha, gotcha. Boom, bitch. That's, if you look back on his career in the last, I don't know how long he's been, but if you look at how many free plays have been his best plays, it's been a lot of them, okay? These coaches fucking hate this guy. This guy embarrasses them double down when they're just trying to sub their goddamn defense, okay? Defensive coaches circle the calendar when they're playing Aaron Rodgers, and they have been for years. I don't think Aaron Rodgers has the capacity to give a shit about football to the extent to outsmart these coaches. They can out-scheme him. He's getting slower, he's getting older, and he's trying less. That is not the recipe for success. Kobe, he fucking played harder at the end. That's how he stayed relevant. Aaron Rodgers is doing less and trying to be a GM and an owner and a coach, and then also rubbing the other coach's face. Hey, got you there, bitch. Like, that is a recipe for disaster if you can't back that shit up. And I'm afraid that he doesn't have the football mind or the desire to be ahead of this game like these pear-shaped fucking loser coaches, alcoholics that have never met their families, that sit around till 4 a.m. studying this game so they can beat some athletic, better version of themselves, okay? They got everything to work for, and Rodgers is living in Silicon Valley being like, where's my fucking super slot? I asked for a ball pit. What the fuck's going on here, okay? Here's the Rodgers, yes, the game has passed you by. These coaches are smarter than you, and they have been for fucking years. And the guys you've gotten fired, half of them are smarter than you in terms of football. Just play quarterback. Just be a fucking quarterback, and you'll be the MVP again. That's what I have to say about Aaron Rodgers in the passing game.
Well, I wanted to talk about injuries for a second, but the injury list has basically been the same since we've started. And I don't want to talk about David Bakhtiari again. I just don't want to talk about it. I don't want to waste my time and my energy on it. If he plays, he plays. If he doesn't, he doesn't. I want to move on to some. What's that?
Aaron Rodgers has not been at practice the last couple of days with a thumb. I don't know if that's to be believed that it's actually a thumb, but he hasn't been at practice 2 days in a row.
No, he hasn't. I read about that too.
Yeah, but I doubt it. I think he just likes to play ping pong. I think he just like got a new pair of rollerblades and wants to like cruise around Lambeau and his when nobody's there and his sweet new pair of blades. So he faked the phony thumb injury.
Amari Rodgers, we keep talking about him week in, week out. I mean, do we actually want this guy returning kicks? I can honestly tell you, I don't think so. But if anybody has any other opinion, I'm welcome to hear it. Mayhew, maybe, but as far as what I'm seeing, I don't even know what he's still doing on the bench.
Look, it started at the beginning of the game. Once I saw Christian Watson back there returning kickoffs, like that was like, okay. So again, they're actually listening or like using logic and being like, this guy's really, really not good. And trying to replace him there, but they still had him on punt returns, Chaz. And what do? The first one goes off, and you cross your fingers. You're like, maybe this is the one. Maybe this is the one. It's almost like he literally just threw the ball out of his hands. I didn't see anybody like punch it out, but inevitably, fumble recovered by our team. He's somehow safe for the moment. Look, Amari, I know you're out there listening, and I'm telling you, HGH. Methamphetamines, speed, cocaine, whatever it takes. I'm not saying you should. I'm encouraging it at this point. Whatever it takes for you to get out there and make some kind of a play. Because man, your days are dwindling. They're dwindling here. Because Kylan Hill is back at practice, and this guy is capable of returning kicks, maybe punts, and you get on the field as a wide receiver only when we run out of options, my man. You're done. I apologize, but you're done.
He is the perfect example of a trophy for irrational loyalty. That's exactly what he is on our team. Irrational loyalty, if it was a living human thing, that's it. That's what it looks like. Doesn't make any fucking sense to anybody, but that's who he is. He is a trophy to irrational loyalty. That is all I have to say about Amari Rodgers. And it proves this team is not thinking in terms of like, I want things to change. I'm going to do more of the same and expect it to do better. Okay, we're at week 5.
Let me pose a question then, gentlemen. Since we're talking about like expectations and what we expect as true hardened fans, Ty, I mean, at this point, with how we're playing, and let's say you're the coach, are you going to fire Barry mid-season? Would you do it?
Yes, you'd have to have somebody lined up, ready to go, or be ready to take it on yourself. Let's not be on the floor, scheme up some defense. He knows what he's looking at. He's just let the other guy run away with it. He can rein him in. I don't think he actually has to fire him, but the fans will only tolerate so much of watching the same cover two with the strongest secondary we've had in years play zone. So he's definitely, yeah, I do it.
Chaz, I would do what I've done before. Like, and you basically take it over. You don't fire him now because you don't want to embarrass him, and you want to just kind of ride out the year. But if this ship does not completely turn around, he's gone by the end of the year. If Matt wants to keep his job, man, it's all like you tie together. This guy went out of his way to choose this particular man, and it was both. And at the time, it was not a very large pool. If you guys remember back, Jim Leonard was in the running. I had my fingers crossed. I'm like, that is the guy. And Jim Leonard pulled back. And then from there, he basically had a bunch of schleps to like pull from. I'm like, why is this like the defensive talent pool at the moment? But regardless, when you make that choice and you lock yourself with somebody, it's a statement, man. And he fucked up. I'm sorry. He fucked up. And he's got to, like Tyson, like you said, he's got to sleep in that bed that he made, you know?
You're asking if I'm the head coach, would I fire Joe Barry?
Mid-season.
Should I? Yes. Can I? Fuck no. You can't. It's not an option, guys. This is why LaFleur is like fucking getting pulled 10 ways from Sundays. It can't even be a priority because he needs to lick his quarterback's balls so hard that he doesn't even have time to like go at his coach and create that conflict when he's at home talking to his wife or his therapist or whatever, trying to figure out how am I going to talk to Aaron about his play? Like, how are we going to do you really expect him to be able to like sit down this defensive coach, get rid of him, have someone else on staff that's going to come in or bring someone else in who's a way better option with a whole different philosophy, whole different terminology? We're going to learn that on the fly between weeks? No, you're trapped. He's in a trap. He chose the wrong quarterback. He chose the wrong defensive coordinator, and he's kept Amari Rodgers on this team. He doesn't remember why. He is paralyzed by difficult situations right now, and he better figure out a way out of it, because if he doesn't, we're going to just keep losing.
To end it on a bit of a good note, as far as that quarter goes, I want to end it on a positive note. Can we right this ship, boys? Can we take what we've seen? And I will say, I think we can, because I've seen every game, usually one half of great football, whether it's the first half or the second half. Can we physically, as a team, as an organization, overcome these obstacles? Now, we're going to have some quote unquote not hard, they're supposed to be statistically not the hardest games to play on the road, but can we get this team where it needs to be and overcome a hurdle to be the team that we want to see? I'll leave that for anybody who wants it.
Yeah, absolutely. No question. We absolutely can fucking do that. There's no question. But not until we all agree we've hit rock bottom. This is an addict situation. Until we all agree this is as low as we can go, we aren't all going to admit it's time to go higher, especially with the quarterback that thinks he's the head coach and PR manager for the fucking Green Bay Packers, okay? We are not going to have any real admission of where we're at until we hit true rock bottom. Gentlemen, I'm afraid this week is our rock bottom, and I fully expect us to find it and grow from it, because I'll tell you what I don't want to be. Playing my best football in the month of October or even November. I want to be playing my best football when? December, January. That's when you want to be your best. And we peaked early in years before. That's certainly not what we're guilty of right now. So I believe we will right the ship, but not until we determine that this is our rock bottom. And the way that this team is talking about that loss, this can't be our rock bottom. They aren't even admitting it's a problem.
Of course, we win this one. We're 4-2. We're right there at the top of the NFC North. The Vikings are bound to implode any day now. We're going to be running away with this thing in 4 weeks. We just have to get through what was a tough loss because it just looked like a not good football team. We're a good team. We're fine. We're on track. We have to win this to right the ship. But we win this, we're 4-2 leaders.
Now, when you say fine, are we freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and emotional?
All at the same time.
Right. Mayhew, can we right this ship, baby? Can we find home? Can we see land in sight?
Chaz, I tell you, it's a roller coaster over in my world. The game gets over, and no, man, I'm down at the bottom, and I'm like, this team has no chance of like being something special that I thought. And then give me a couple of days, and I ponder, and I'm like, there's too much talent on both sides of this ball that we can't only be like one like competitive, but if we hone it and we hit things at the right moment, like Tyson's at the end of the year, there's possibilities there. There's possibilities there. And I look at this game, boys, it is pivotal. It is pivotal. It's what we've talked about. It's a team that basically has all the strengths that we've been struggling with, and a coaching staff that is got embarrassed across the fucking ocean and is like coming back home being like, we need to rectify this thing. And we're at home, guys, which I think is huge. Being at home this week, this is the game to turn it around, Chaz, if it's going to happen. And when you got the backfield, whether it's Dion again or Aaron Jones, like, feed the rock to these cats, throw to the receivers that are open, and chip away. I don't want deep shots. I don't need deep shots. Let's keep our defense on the sidelines well rested, slowly chip away at these offenses and wear them down. And then the defense comes out there and does exactly what they're built to do. Play with a fucking lead. It's it. It is it. Why are we getting away from a formula that we know works?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of our show. We like to change up our specials, and this week is going to be Cato's Kicker Corner. We'd like to welcome Miss Cato for Cato's Kicker Corner. How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling great. Feeling excited. I got some great stuff for you boys today. The kicker. So the kicker of the Jets is a guy by the name of Greg Zuerlein, otherwise known as Greg the Leg. I don't know if you have background on Greg the Leg. He was a kicker for a really long time for the Rams. Then he was with the Cowboys, and they cut him. And now he's on a one-year contract with the Jets. So here's what's happened. Preseason, not great for him. For Greg the Leg, not great. 11 missed kicks. That's 6 field goals, 5 extra points. Right, real rough. They were already talking going into week 1 that the Jets are going to cut him. But here's the thing, season started, now his kicking average is about up to 86. I think my co-teacher corrected me on that. 86% currently. But the last 2 games, he's been at 100%. Which we all know means he's going to miss a kick this week. Statistically, right? We can't have 3 games in a row at 100%. That's crazy. Okay, so there's the math of Cato's Kicker Corner. Now let's go into him as a person. As we all know, I believe kickers are broken people. So, of course, I dug into his social media, because that's what I do. So I went into his Instagram. He's from Nebraska. Funny enough, he's from Lincoln, Nebraska. My cousin's also from Lincoln, Nebraska. They went to University of Omaha at the same time. Both of my cousins and this guy. They claim they don't know who he is. I don't know.
But do they?
It was a real quick response in the Instagram. Like, yeah, no, don't know that guy. I'm like, okay, all right. That leads me to his Twitter. He has a really gross Twitter. And by gross, I mean he's terribly tacky. So his Twitter handle is Legatron. And for a lot of the years where he was with, Legatron. And his posts are like, this team hasn't felt the atomic leg, #Legatron, I am Legatron. Every one of his Twitter posts ends with I.am.Legatron. Oh, it's disgusting. It's so, every time, it's like, the atomic leg. They have no idea what's coming. I am Legatron, like post after post after post after post, like for every single game. So that's annoying and gross. So besides the fact that he's tacky, I feel like he knows my cousins in a weird way. Are we ready for my wild accusation on this kicker?
You know, Kato, I was going to ask you, what are your wild accusations on this kicker?
All right, buckle up.
Buckled.
So, he was drafted in 2012 by the Rams. After doing a little digging, I discovered that there is a Greg Zuerlein of the same name, born of the same year, in the same area, who won a bronze medal for ice dancing in the 2011 Olympics.
What?
And then quickly retired in 2011.
Has anyone seen him in the
So
same
has
place
anyone
at the same
seen
time?
this guy? I think they're the same person. I think Greg Zuerlein is actually an Olympic bronze medal winning ice dancer.
Couldn't get the gold.
I think he couldn't get the gold.
Couldn't get the gold.
I think he felt humiliated. He retired in 2011, according to Wikipedia, and then drafted in 2012 by the Rams.
So if I'm hearing you correctly,
I'm telling you, Greg Zuerlein is a failed ice dancer. So new identity, right? Like I'm gonna reinvent myself with the same name as a professional place kicker.
Makes sense to me.
Right. I think it makes total sense. And I think the piece that we really have to hang on to is around he was a very, very talented kicker. 2020, his stats started plummeting. That's where he left the Rams. He went to the Cowboys for a year. I think in quarantine, he started ice dancing again. I think that passion was ignited. And I think he hasn't been able to shake it. So here's my strategy. I think when this guy's kicking, we need to remind him of not only his failed gold medal, number one, but number two, maybe we talk about Lutzes and toe loops and axle jumps, because I think it's going to shake him.
holy shit.
I'm just saying, Greg Zuerlein, a failed Olympic ice dancer, I think he is.
Can I ask you, if it came down to it, if it was him kicking the goal, would quote unquote icing the kicker help or hurt us is the question.
I think he can't get it out of his head. I think in moments of stress, he thinks how he lost that gold medal. I think he can't. I think he's stuck in that year, and I think he had moved on. But I think it's coming back to him. His years of ice dancing.
My Lord, I don't even know how to respond to some of that. Mainly because, how do you ice said ice kicker? How do you ice the ice kicker? You know what I mean? I have to ask. Was it pairs? You said it was pairs?
It was pairs.
Was it a man?
No. Well, no. He was with a woman. And they lost to the other female pair of ice dancers, the Americans. So I think that's also a burn, right? He lost it to someone else on his team, the gold medal.
Well, then really what I want to know is, whoever they lost to, where the hell is she playing for? What NFL team is she now playing for? Because that's what I got to worry about.
Oh, no. But I mean, there's nothing more mentally unstable than a scorn ice dancer.
Green Bay hath no fury like a bronze medalist scorn.
So anyway, that's Kato's Kicker Corner on Greg the Leg Legatron ice dancing Greg Zuerlein.
So Kato, in closing, what is it we're supposed to scream at this ice queen?
I think we yell ice dancing vocabulary. Or maybe just bronze, 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 bronze.
I'm going to go with Browns every time. Cato, thank you so much for coming on 2D and a C. Always love seeing you. You have a wonderful night.
Yeah.
As we move into the fourth quarter, ladies and gentlemen, we've had some heated conversations about this Packers team, and we want to talk about something that gets us every single week, and that is what grinds ye gears. You want to know what grinds my gears? This week, it's brought to you by none other than the Porcelain Prince himself. Aaron, what grinds your gears?
Jazz, I appreciate you asking. And honestly, this segment is not so much about me venting about things I'm upset with on a day-to-day basis, but it's more me trying to alienate potential listeners to this show because I don't give a shit and I'm really upset a lot of the day. Now, today, I would like to talk about old white folk, okay? And that's a touchy subject. I see everybody's head start to turn. I understand. But when I go to the fucking grocery store and the old lady runs into my shin with her fucking cart, doesn't say hi, doesn't say sorry, and then leaves her cart on one side of the aisle to go to the other side of the aisle to look at fucking powdered gravy packets. So she's walking the entire thing. There's like a line forming behind her. She sees it. Does she not see it? Does she not care? It fucking irritates me. And I'm like, what am I looking at here? Mildred, Gertrude, Beth Rahel, what the fuck is your name? I don't know. But can you scoot to the side so the rest of us can like move past you in a fucking fine form? And their manners, it's like once they reach a certain age, like manners no longer apply. Okay, they don't fucking apply to that group. Because what? Because you're slowly dying. I don't care. There's principles in this world. There are rules to live by, and I know Tyson feels much the same way as me. Tyson, could you elaborate?
As someone who works in the world of customers and has for a long time, I gotta say my tolerance for old white people is also getting worse by the day. It's not just old white ladies, it's old white men. You're fucking pathetic. Why can't you order on your own? What's fucking happened here? When did you stop being a functioning human being who can't fucking do anything but be like a quirky old guy who makes a fucking joke out of every goddamn thing? Just fucking order. Get the fuck out of the way. I get it. You're great. You're super funny. You're someone's grandpa. Someone thinks you're awesome. But right now, everyone understands the role. Everyone understands what they're supposed to do. You don't.
And Chaz, who is giving these old ladies checkbooks? Because Jesus Christ, I cannot sit in the grocery line and watch them fill out a fucking report any longer. And then why do they always still bring out a fucking penny purse for change? If you wrote the exact amount, why are you bringing exact change into the situation?
As someone who's lived off the charity of many an old lady, I gotta say, when I ask for a check, I say, can you write it out just to cash? And they're like, that's an interesting play, cash. And I'm like, you're damn right it is. As we move into the fourth quarter and or the 2-minute drill, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about next week predictions. First of all, I want to know who's going to have a big game. I'm going to go first. I'm going to tell you right off the bat because I really want to see it because I thought it could have happened last game. I'm going to carry it over. I want Randall Cobb to have an amazing game this week. It seemed like he was just starting to get a little more love from Aaron Rodgers, even though Aaron Rodgers keeps talking about how amazing he is and he wants to give him more targets. First and foremost, I want to see him have a blowout game, mainly because I didn't see it as much as I wanted to last week. Aaron.
I feel, look, I've been dogging him all episode, but this just feels like the moment where this motherfucker finally steps up. I think it's Aaron Rodgers is going to have not a, like, I'm not talking like a 500-yard day and 4 touchdowns. I'm talking about doing what he should do and lead this team to just a solid win, executing the offense. Call it 3 TDs, super efficient, passer rating over 100.
Ty.
I'm looking at fucking Mason. 4 extras and a field goal.
Boom. Quick and easy and to the point. Little salt, little pepper, baby. Tyson, big game.
I think Romeo Doubs is due for another 8 balls, 8 receptions, over 100 yards first over 100-yard receiving game of his career. I'm going to say Romeo Doubs, though Romeo Doubs.
The thing is, it could go any one of those ways, boys. As far as first touchdown of the game, I'm going to give it to the big dog. I want to see Mercedes Lewis come out yet again and just fucking pile drive into that end zone and be wide for 20 yards. Wide. I just want to see more out of him from Aaron Rodgers. That filled me with so much joy for that game. I want to go same order. Aaron, who is going to get the first touchdown?
I would be going with AJ Young. I just feel like when we get into these red zone situations, Chaz, we get towards the goal line, the offensive pass scheme has been slightly suspect. It's like, let's just run the ball, boys, down their throats. And that's my boy right now.
Christian Watson's going to change the way everyone feels about him when he scores first on Sunday. This whole theme of this game is going to be changing how everybody feels about the Packers. Christian Watson's going to be the leader in that.
Hey, he's going to be hurt. He's got hamstring. Yeah, he's out.
Scratch Christian Watson. We'll go my backup pick, the safe pick.
No. You called it. That's who it is.
He's going to rise from the grave. He's going to tape his fucking knee up. He's going to go play some football, score, and then be on IR for the rest of the year.
Yeah, for me, it's going to be Aaron Jones. Obvious choice. First touchdown, Aaron Jones.
Let's talk about QB stats. And I only want to hear about our QB. Unless you really want to get into it, I'm going to go with the same order yet again. QB stats. I'm going to go with I would love to, and this is least amount. I would love to just see 200 yards at this point because I'm coming off a little bitter after the last game into this next game. If I could just see 200 yards, I would feel okay. Just okay.
Chaz, let me throw some stats at you here. So we have basically pass to run statistics through the first 5 weeks, right? Week 1, we have 50 to 55. Week 2, we have 49 to 51. Week 3, 57 to 48. And week 4, 51 to 55 yet again. Once we get into week 5, boys, is where we threw the ball 62 times and ran the ball 18. Now, none of those numbers were realistic, but they all kind of make sense to you, don't they? Is that first 4 weeks, we were balanced as fuck. And then last week, we got completely off base and felt like we needed to just like whip the long ball, all right? Let's just get back to what works with this team, okay? Play to the strength of your players. Don't just try to write up a scheme that in your head makes fucking sense. I'm done with it. These guys are ready to win games. They are, but they just need to be led properly. So LaFleur, step the fuck up. Joe Barry, sit the fuck down. And let's just grab a quick win here in week 6 and get back on track.
Yep, I got Aaron Rodgers going 253, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, 72% completion ratio. That's all he has to do. The Jets win when their defense gets turnovers. We don't turn the ball over. That's a solid Rodgers game. He would love. He loves that stat line. Nice and simple. Let everybody else score some big points.
T-Bone, QB stats.
You want to know how to fix this? It is very simple how to fix it. What we need to do is go back and play a little Barry ball. We need to run the ball nearly every single play. We're only going to throw the ball like 10 times, and that's going to be on third downs. We're going to be predictable in the area that's working that this team can't stop. If you watch the Jets game last week, Miami looks eerily like us in how they run their outside run game. Aaron Jones could have a huge game, okay? So if we do all those things, we're going to win the game. But there's no fucking way Aaron Rodgers is going to do that stuff. Not going to happen. So for me, guys, and I hope I'm wrong here, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be 10 for 23 for 170 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception in our rock bottom loss of the year.
Well, let's talk about the running backs, boys. There's only 2 to choose from. Ty, name and yards.
Jones over 100, Dillon over 75, a touchdown apiece.
Aaron Jones, 145 yards and 2 touchdowns. AJ Dillon, 38 yards.
Let's talk about the thing we don't want to talk about, turnovers. Mayhew, do you have anything to say about that?
I do. And that this team has been wildly erratic with the amount of turnovers in these first 5 games. And I think that's honestly what's been killing us. Like last year, honestly, every year we've been under Matt LaFleur, turnover differential has been very much in our favor. And like one swing this way, one swing that way is a huge difference in a game. We got to clean it up, man. Not only turnovers, but penalties are literally what's been killing this team, I think, in these close games. So hopefully that's the focus this week.
Absolutely. Ty, thoughts?
Turnovers. I think this is the week where you're going to see Stokes get involved. I think he's going to have a big game. I think he's going to have a couple slap downs, probably a turnover. Yeah, I think this is the week for Stokes. I could see Stokes getting involved, having a couple deflections, maybe a nice pick. That would be really nice. I think that we could build something off of something in the secondary, and I think Stokes is our leader with Jair back there.
Yeah, they have a rookie running back, rookie quarterback. These guys are due to cough up some big time turnovers. I would like to see a fumble and an interception, but I'll take either. I would just like to see some production out of this defense.
So moving forward, one of the last little bits here in this 2-minute warning, which is a 9-minute warning. Final score predictions. I'm going to start with Aaron. I'm going to go to Ty. I'm going to go to T-Bone. I'm going to finish with myself. So, Aaron, final score predictions of this week.
Let's go 31-17 back.
All right. Ty.
31-15. And Greg Triple Sow Cow Zerline goes 5 for 7.
Oh shit!
Ty, did you just Price is Right me? What the fuck just happened there?
$1, Bob.
Bob Barker, motherfucker.
T-Bone, I hate to ask, but I want to hear your prediction, buddy.
Guys, I hate to say it, and I hope I'm wrong, because let me tell you, nobody hates a loss more than me. I think there's too much going on, guys. I think it's coming in from too many angles. Okay, we're on a winning streak like we should be, and we're where we're supposed to be. Yeah, he's gonna enjoy these phone calls from his brother and his best buddy, giving him fucking shit this whole week while they got to go play football against each other at their home stadium. That would be great if he didn't need to have a fucking heart-to-heart out of this defensive coordinator about how dude, do I have to do your fucking job? And then also pull his quarterback aside and be like, hey, dude, look at the tape. You look like dog shit. This isn't working. Everyone needs to listen to me and do what I tell you to do. He has to deal with all this shit all at once. This is an intersection of personal and professional. Guys, I hate to say it, but the Packers are going to hit their rock bottom loss of the year here. It's going to change our franchise and change our fucking trajectory for us to take this seriously finally, because we're going to lose to the Jets 21-37. It's going to be a convincing loss. It's going to fuck us up. And it better put us fucking right. Because if it doesn't, we're in real trouble, man, because this divorce is coming one way or another. Let's fucking get this done. It all rides on this week. This is a must win. And I hope I'm wrong by saying we're going to lose 21-37. Prove me wrong, guys.
Here at Two Dads and a Chaz podcast, we like to talk about our favorite Packer moments in our lives. I'm going to throw it over to the Porcelain Prince. Aaron, give us your favorite memory this week.
Well, Chaz, thank you very much. I'd like to transport the audience back to 2010, December 5th. The opponent, San Francisco 49ers, and we all fucking hate those guys, right? This one goes out to one of my favorite receivers of all time, number 80, Packer Hall of Famer, Donald Driver. let's go to the film, boys. It's 2nd and 16 here. The score, 14-13 Green Bay in the third quarter. Looking for a breakout. Let's see what happens here. Aaron Rodgers drops in the shotgun. Quick snap. Throws over the net. Perfect catch by Donald, and we think he's down to 30. No. He's down to 25. 20? No. Shakes the tackle to the 10, to the 5. Straight into the end zone after embarrassing a slew of fucking defenders. An all-time highlight, one of my personal favorites. Chaz, back to you.
That is Favorite Packer Moments, brought to you by Two Dads and a Chaz podcast. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here at Two Dads and a Chaz podcast, I hope we do prove some people wrong and some people right, as far as some of our predictions and some of the ones we haven't made yet, which we're going to find out what happens coming to you live for the next game. And by that, I mean we won't actually be there. But I just want to say, hashtag Go Pack Go, hashtag Huck It, Chuck It, football, and as far as all of us cheeseheads, we like to close out this podcast the same way we always do, with a classic hashtag. I think, gentlemen, this week it's going to be Fuck the Jets, right? In 3, 2, 1, hashtag
Fuck
Oh,
the Jets.
Jets.
Fuck the Jets.
Two dads and a Chaz, putting trophies on the wall. Two dads and a Chaz is talking Green Bay Packers football. Not exactly qualified, but answers the call. Two dads and a Chaz, talking Green Bay Packers football.